Hello and welcome everybody back to the Racer's Mind, a special Wednesday edition here tonight. I'm Brandon Krutz, Corey Silva, and I'm not sure which side he's on. Which side is it?
You're right. Yeah, there we go, we're good. No, the other way.
That was my left.
There we go.
Alright, so Corey's over there, and yeah, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We kind of missed out on Monday night. I had to work. It's my last week at the job, so nothing I can really do there, but we're back, and look, Corey, I have a proper setting.
I know, you could see we're not at the virtual Richmond, we were at Martinsville. Now we're actually at what looks like a really lifelike version of Richmond International Raceway, so props to the graphics guy on that side. Yeah. Anyways, without further ado, because we've got some stuff going on tonight we want to get to after this, but we want to make sure we get a show in. I'm usually the one that leads the show with all the topics, but I don't really have anything today. Brandon and our Michael, who couldn't be here tonight, had some stuff they want to go over, so I'll let Brandon lead the show tonight.
Yeah, so first of all, welcome everybody in chat. Feel free to get involved in chat. The first thing I wanted to talk about, excuse if any sound comes through here, okay. The first thing I wanted to talk about is some of the past updates. Just found out myself that there's another one coming out tomorrow, but we had a hotfix, or a patch rather, come out just a couple of days ago. Basically, fixed a bug. Any bug fixes it. Fixed a bug where you could get stuck into a loading screen indefinitely waiting, transitioning between sessions in the sim. I've had that issue myself, not fun to be in, so I'm glad they fixed that. One of the major changes is to the dirt side of things, where basically the dynamic track.
And by the way, I'm not ignoring you. I am texting on my phone in chat. That way I don't mess up the interface. So again, just don't think I'm ignoring you. Carry on.
So, anyways, Corey always makes fun of me for being on my phone during these things. Basically, all the loose dirt would kind of gather up, and it would form a slope for the cushion. That's not really supposed to be a thing. It's more supposed to be a wall of dirt, or a shelf of dirt, as people call it, the shelf. So iRacing changed that completely. The loose dirt no longer affects the banking of the cushion. The banking is kind of formed as cars run it in. It's really not supposed to be that large at all. The loose dirt will still kind of gather up, and it'll start to build a wall, exactly what it's supposed to do. It's not as dramatic. The cushion doesn't gather up quite as big as it used to in a short amount of time. However, after time, it will start to gather up pretty large, as I've learned, or, driving something like the 410 non-wings for 2 hours around a racetrack, stuff like that. That's when it starts to get really big. That's about the only thing for the sprint cars. The dirt sprint cars and everything, or any direct drive vehicle on iRacing, you no longer have a gearbox. So you don't have to worry about a shifter. Like, I've got my shifter next to me. You guys can't see it. But you don't have to worry about the shifter. You don't have to worry about going into first because it's unrealistic. So iRacing slowly but surely, in my eyes, starting to improve their transmission models and everything else like they're supposed to. They did give us a reverse. So in order to go into reverse, you have to stop completely, have your foot on the brake, and then you can shift it into reverse in case you find yourself nose up against a wall or something. This affects for the dirt sprint cars, the 305, 360, and 410 winged, and the non-wing 360 and 410 also affects the dirt midget and the asphalt sprint car as well. Probably the most recent major update to the asphalt sprint car that I've ever seen, personally. I don't know about you, Corey.
Yeah, that car, I think that was one of the last ones to actually get on the new tire model, too. It took, because it has so much... The physics on it are so radically different than any other asphalt car, or any other car for that matter on the service, that there's the plug-and-play tire model that Dave Kamer is trying to work on. It just does not fit. The V8 supercar kind of fell in that same category. I know a lot of people still say that's broken, but you know, it is definitely good to see that dirt's not something that they released and they've gave up on it and said whatever, it's there. They are working on it, and I know as someone who's trying to get into it and be better, I even noticed like yes, you want to run the cushion at dirt tracks, you want to run up there by the wall, and it's fun, but it was definitely overkill with how the banking, it would just be, I was calling it a half pipe. It'd be flat at the bottom, and you would just have a continuous wall of banking up there, and then you'd have a little bit of a rut at the top for the cushion, so you really couldn't run the bottom anywhere. So hopefully, along with the water updates they did a couple of builds ago, that it can create better multi-groove racing.
And that is something I've seen so far. Of course, one of the PTR TV leagues, we don't really cover them too much. The Outlaw Racing Series, the league that I run, you know, we're in between seasons, so it'll be interesting for that next season, primary partner dirt league with PTR TV. Also with the direct drive during, you know, a lot of people were worried that at grid, if everybody's sitting there revving their engines, it automatically puts you into gear. People are going to fly forward. Not going to be the case. So if you're on grid and you're sitting there hitting the pedal, you cannot rev the engine in these cars anymore. In stationary periods such as starting grid or in the pits, it completely ignores throttle input until everything is good. So major update in that aspect, and an update that I really did like seeing. There was also update to the hybrid power units on some of the road cars. I don't know much about those personally. The new Dallara IR18, some of the collision has been updated and strengthened. The rear wing was strengthened on those. The Ford Mustang, the road car, the FR500S, it fixed a glitch with that with the rear torsion bar. Something that was coming for a while, I noticed. The old Indy car, the Dallara 2011, was also updated and fixed an issue where the driver's feet would stick out through the hood of the vehicle. So that was updated. And also a couple updates to the McLaren MP430, where the regeneration torque, something along those lines.
The rocket ship science stuff that we don't understand about the F1 car. But yeah, it's good to see that's for a little hot fix, which we thought. It actually was a good amount of content to that. So that was a pretty good thing. And yeah, I don't think that about covers the little update we had. So
some of the biggest news that came out this week, Corey, and something that we probably wouldn't have caught had this show been scheduled on Monday, is Red Bull GRC claiming they're shutting down until 2019 at least.
Yeah, that is pretty drastic of a large, I mean, not large, but, you know, well-known sanctioning body to literally, like, abruptly just say, okay, we're done. I mean, I've heard from a couple different sources there was some huge financial issues going on where they had trouble paying their balance with venues they went to, and other stuff. So that's pretty huge. That, especially iRacing, hashtag iRacing curse. As soon as we get something in, it's gone. Indirectly, I mean, we're still going to have GRC up. Well, sorry, we're still going to have Rallycross, not necessarily GRC, but yeah, that is definitely a huge thing. I've never really heard of that in the motor sports industry, of just up in mid-season. Okay, we're done.
Yeah, and especially because iRacing was working so close with GRC, kind of came of a shock. But they lost a lot of drivers, Corey, and funds were not where they were supposed to be. As you said, they owed payments to a couple of tracks. Red Bull was not paying in the tracks that they were supposed to. You know, payments owed all the way back to 2014 even, with a couple of racetracks. They shut down their primary series, and all the manufacturers started pulling out all the drivers, going to something new called ARX, American Rallycross. So, new upcoming Rallycross series starting up here pretty soon. So,
and what does this remind us all of? I mean, for us elders out there, before your time, Brandon, but Kart IRL Split, does this sound familiar at all? The big sanctioning body. All right, we're gonna do our own thing. We're gonna steal your drivers and eventually shut you down, and then become the new thing. It's just pretty much the new version of that in a different discipline of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, big news out of there. You're going to see all the big names over at American Rallycross now, and GRC shutting down their sanction until at least 2019. It's going to become one of the low-tier racing classes, the beginner racing class at that. American Rallycross currently does not have a sponsor, as far as I know, primary sponsor, and you know, my guess is it could be Monster Energy or something like that. I imagine they're not going to have Red Bull, because obviously Red Bull has failed to come through with.
But
GRC.
on the iRacing side, though, it was confirmed to me by a guy we know from RaceSpot that Red Bull is still sanctioning the iRacing World Rallycross Championship. So that will still be funded. It will still be branded by Red Bull. I'm assuming that was a contracted situation, so they are fulfilling that contract.
Yeah, absolutely. And Red Bull's a big company. You know, $10,000 sponsored for the GRC, the Pro Series. You know, I wouldn't have imagined that there would be any issues there. It's still going to be called Red Bull GRC. So that is still in the sanction through contract with iRacing. So no worries there. And of course, for the Dirt Oval guys, you know, no issues with the Dirt Oval series. Has nothing to do with the GRC. No, I got a couple of questions about that. Yeah, so that's some really big news. I mean, Corey, I don't know what it's going to do to GRC. I imagine GRC is pretty much done for.
Yeah, you know, there was a couple of races I wanted to go to. I mean, for a couple of years, they were pretty much converting almost every NASCAR oval into a rallycross track. I know they went right up north of me in Massachusetts. They went up to Loudon. They've gone to Charlotte. They've gone to Texas. They did Bristol even. They did the Charlotte dirt track. They've pretty much taken anything they can and made it GRC. They went there on NASCAR weekends to try to get the attendance, and I mean, it was a good show. They really made some very innovative tracks, and if people don't show up, I mean, we say that about a lot of things. People say they want something, and then they have the opportunity for it, and it doesn't happen. Hence Rockingham going defunct. Hence North Wilkesboro. They reopen it. No one shows up. They close it. If people want something, they got to support it. Or the other way around. Maybe just people, you think they want something, and they don't show up for it because they didn't want it after all. So I don't know which side of the coin that one flips on, but either way, I think it's going down the toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
one thing I do, if we're done with that, Brandon, I do have one thing I want to get into. We mentioned on episode 3 our PTR TV team event, our team clash, and we did not and have not really gotten the support behind it that we were expecting. Last I checked, I think we only had 3 entries for teams. So obviously we're not going to run it with just 2 or 3 teams in there. We want it to be a larger event. We kind of expected it based on we were flooded with entries on the other one. So we are going to set a cutoff of April 28th, and if we do not have what we deem to be enough participation for that, unfortunately that event will go down the curbside. There is a link in the description to go to the Google Drive, to go to the Google Forms rather, and you can fill out that form with your team. It's going to be, remember, 3 races a night, 3 nights over the 3 months, 3 nights over the course of about 3 months. And each night there's going to be 3 short races, 1 on an oval, 1 on a road course, 1 on a dirt track. You're going to race with your team. Your team is going to gather points in each race, and you're going to have a team champion each night, and then we're going to have an overall champion at the end of 3 weeks. The people that have signed up have been really excited and really want to see it go, because nothing like this has ever been done. But ultimately we can't do it if there's no participation. So if you are interested in that, we will repost it on social media with the specific details and dates and tracks. And again, the form is in the description. 3 drivers to a team. Please only submit 1 entry per team. And if you're watching this on a podcast in the future, sorry, because I know that says absolutely no pertinence to you, but there are a lot of people watching, so just for those people.
Yep. So yeah, there's that. You know, if you guys want to race, come on down. Should be a good time. So I know something that was very heated on iRacing and started a huge debate. The iRacing incident limit, Corey.
Yes, there was a video by none other than Empty Box, who is obviously one of the 3 to 4 biggest streamers on YouTube and Twitch. We have Empty Box, Matt Orr, Matt O'Donnell, True Racer is big. Obviously, we have Matt Malone, and I think Jimmy Broadbent. So one of the big celebrities, and he got DQ'd out of, I can't remember which race it was, but it was a race that he had a lot of Twitch people watching. He put it on YouTube, and it's on the forums now. And there's about a 10-page debate on that video, on that topic from that video of the iRacing DQ system. And I know Brandon has a very large history with the DQ system, perhaps in a league that I'm going to be racing in about a half hour. So what is the DQ system? I don't need to explain it to people, but just for the sake of getting into the topic, obviously we have incidents. We have our SR. We got our SR based on how clean we drive / how many cars we don't get into, not in the wall, blah, blah, blah. We get DQ'd based on getting incidents, which may or may not have been our fault. So at a track like Martinsville, Richmond, on the roadside Spa, where it's really easy to go off track even if you do nothing wrong, you're going to get DQ'd for what may have been your fault or something that really has no relation towards how safe of a driver or unsafe of a driver you are.
Yeah, and what you were talking about, Corey, I have plenty of experience with that. Getting basically in these races, I ended up getting put to the back of the field 2 weeks in a row, and it really didn't help me any. And you know, of course, league rule doesn't affect iRacing at all. But with that, I kept getting caught up in stuff. Wasn't my fault, or was the Ghost X's, the Ghost incident points that we see all the time on iRacing. There's nothing you can do about it. It's internet racing. You know, it's come to be expected. Essentially, I got too many incidents. I got DQ'd, and now if that were to happen in an official race, I would lose a ton of SR, and that was basically why it got so heated. Was you know, you would lose more SR if the incident limit wasn't there. Yeah, more SR, more I rating. If you'd lose more SR if the incident limit wasn't there, you'd lose more I rating if it was there, etc., etc. So this whole argument went on and on. I don't personally have an opinion on it. I think, you know, it's good for official races, I think.
We dispute. Carry on, though. Disputes are good for TV.
For personally, well, for the lower tier series, I think it could be a good thing. I emphasize the lower tier. The higher tier, I don't think it should be a thing. I don't think the person should just poof be gone. Seems a little bit. Imagine if that happened to you in real life. Person in front of you just disappears.
Instead of getting a ticket when you get pulled over, you just poof.
Yeah, poof. The sound effect comes with it.
That'll be a meme.
I think personally, I think iRacing should start to phase it out. That's just me, though. I know, Corey, you probably feel kind of the same way.
I mean, you kind of contradicted yourself a little bit. You said you don't think it's good, but you also kind of said it might be good for official racing. Me,
for lower tier series,
I think it's just stupid. I mean, you know me. I'm not politically correct. I just say it as it is. I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid in league racing. I think it's stupid in hosted racing. I think it's stupid in the official service. We get SR, and I have no problem with SR. Absolutely no problem with it. I have a problem with the inconsistencies on the track limits. You shouldn't be able to get a 1x at Spa for getting a wheel off on a curb, but then you can go 75 feet wide at Watkins Glen at the end of turn 1. It's stupid. So if I'm on a short track and even better, if I'm in an Indy car at Charlotte or something like that, and a guy's blocking the draft, and there's a net code 4X on that, and it's not a car code. We're fine. Just the prediction code thought, because we were going so fast and it had radical movement, we got a 4X. I just got a 4X for absolutely nothing. I have a 17 limit. That happens 3 times because we're doing an aggressive race. I'm at 12. Let's say I actually got into a small incident. Okay, I'm out of the race for 3 ghosts and a small incident. We can't have it be fault-based. It's impossible. We as humans cannot make fault on a wreck. If we say, who caused this wreck? Everyone's going to fight about it. We don't know. So how are we going to ask a computer? We can't do that. So how are we going to boot someone out of a race on a no-fault system? That's what the protest system is there for. If we get someone who races like a tool, I'm trying not to swear. I'm getting intense right now. If someone races like a tool, they should get protested, and they should get raced. They should get a proper discipline, not a, well, it looks like it was just racing incidents and nothing's gonna. No, if they race like a tool, get them out of the race, get them a week suspension. We race seriously. We pay a lot of money for this. If we're gonna
I love how he censored himself.
If we're gonna pay this much money for this, we need to take it seriously. If someone's going to pay this much money for this and not take it seriously, that's their own waste of money. They're in the wrong hobby. They should take it seriously, learn what they're doing. When you get protested, you should actually get told what you did so you actually know how to correct your behavior, and then learn from it, and then become a better driver from it.
Personally, and I know I'm going to sound contradicting to myself, I always thought the incident not the incident limit, the incident system itself was stupid. I know we have to have it, which is why, I'm kind of, whatever. We need it for license purposes and official. For league racing, most leagues ignore it. Most league owners think it's stupid and it shouldn't be there especially when they can, take care of it themselves. Which, especially in series like the Beat Ganafree series and the World Championship series where you have live race officials, what's the point of having an incident limit or an incident system altogether? But it's for license purposes, blah, 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 blah. But, short track racing and dirt racing especially, I have lost trying to gain my licenses back on the dirt side because everybody who watches the channel knows I am a dirt guy. I'm a race official at 3 different tracks around here. This is what I know most about. Why I don't know why Corey's laughing over there.
Read chat.
Yeah, the poof be gone system.
Yeah, it's just, and we're getting this in chat, Brandon. So it's like people are saying people take SR and IR too seriously. It's very true. People don't race, and this is kind of getting off topic a little bit. People don't race to have fun. People don't race to do the best job they can. People race because they're worried about a number. And if you're going for pro, you're going for peak, yes, worry about that number. For the other 99% of the service, don't worry about the number. Race. If you're good, what your eventual outcome is going to be or should be most likely will happen. The numbers take care of themselves. You're going to be around the I rating that you should be at. You're not going to be 1,000 I rating below where you think you should be just because you're getting wrecked. Eventually it'll even out. And then what else we have? Do we think there should be a modified protest system? Yes. Protest.
Yeah.
We in America these days, and my wife has this at her work, if she works for a union, every time someone needs to get in trouble, actually have reprimandment. She works for a union, so what do? They slap you on the wrist. Well, just don't do that again. No. You have to manage aggressively. If you manage more aggressively, you teach people the first time, hey, I shouldn't do that. If I punt a guy, hey, don't do that. That's against the sporting code. Okay, what is very obviously intentionally wrecked a guy, this is your punishment. And now I get it from a standpoint of money. If you're going to ban a guy right off the bat, you're losing income on that customer. So yes, you kind of have to play a little bit on the nicer side, but still not as nice as it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. And
like AJD NASCAR 24 in chat, it's too lenient and too easy to keep an A. By all means, it's too easy to keep an A license.
Absolutely.
It took me in the beginning of iRacing over 2 years to earn an A license in the original format. Now you can get it, lose it, and get it back in 3 days.
And yeah, that's just going to say it took me about 2 months to get my A license when I first joined iRacing, and that was easy. That was really easy for me. And now it can take people 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe with this whole fast track system, you got to get up to the 4.0 and minimum participation and blah, 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 blah. It's too easy.
Yeah, so to kind of digress on a point, yes, I think the DQ system, as I kind of said a little bit lightly earlier, I'll say it again, it's stupid. It's absolutely, and if you read that post, there's about 100 posts in that forum post, and I think there's like 2 of them saying it's a good idea. And there's not one single iRacing response. We know Tyler Hudson usually is in there eventually saying either some kind of defense for iRacing, or sometimes he's the other way around. Sometimes he's very like, I get it. We'll work on, but it's been completely a ghost yard in that post. So maybe that means they don't have a response for it. I don't know, but
yeah.
And if there is anybody in chat with anything they want us to say, please let us know. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. I have a league race and some practice to get done in a little bit. So, again, I don't know if you had anything quick, Braden, that you wanted to throw in, and we'll give a little bit of time for people to respond in chat if they do.
Nothing of any topic, but and on our channel, guys, the drive for 500 subscribers is real. So, statistics show that majority of the people that watch our broadcast are not subscribed.
Yeah, it's about 50-50, give or take. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes, so if we get 200 views on a video, 150 views on a video, 75 of those views are people that were not subscribed. And the thing is that happens every single video. So it's like, if you watch us week after week, all you got to do is hit that button. If you don't want to get bugged by notifications, you can undo that. But it just helps the channel out. It helps the leagues out. It helps everybody out. Just support us.
And after we hit 500, YouTube will help us out a little bit more and try to expand our audience that way as well. So we're really trying to push for 500, guys. Be sure to subscribe if you like our content. Be sure to like all of our broadcasts as well. I think that's about all I have to say, Corey. Be sure tomorrow night. We have tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Yep, it is Rivalry Racing League at Darlington tomorrow. So we didn't get to do last week's race for them because ATVO, which is the software we use for overlays, crashed because someone decided to do an update the day of a broadcast, which Wasn't the smartest thing to do, but it was a kind of a fluke deal. But we are working now. I got some help at Max Speed TV. I want to give a shout out to Charles Wooten if this gets through to him in some way or form. Did a great job helping me out there, so think about that. But we are going live with them tomorrow. We will be doing a hardline on Friday nights, and then we had one race for Integrity Racing a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a where is my voice right now?
I don't know. Monday night's broadcast.
There was a admin setup issue with the race, so unfortunately, we joined a race as a spectator, and there's a way that you can set it so that a public spectator can't watch the race. They have to be restricted to the league, or I think even have a password. And that wasn't something that we had, so we were not able to do that. So yeah,
by the time Corey was able to get in contact with an admin, it was already
they were
late.
already on the grid, so they would have had to redo qualifying, redo that, and then at that point, it's like just race, guys. And of course, we missed Rivalry Racing when they had an exciting race and they had a first-time winner, because as soon as something happens, that's when you miss a good race. But
who did end up winning last week? So we can get
Joseph McWhorter.
McWhorter, all right.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what happened
last week. So I guess, congratulations
and
to
I will be putting up tonight. I want to make sure more people get to see it. Travis McDaniel on Rivalry does put up, and I meant to do it this week. I forgot. I'll do it right after this. They do a recap video, and it's something that not a lot of league. I don't know any other league that does it besides Peak. He goes in, gets all the highlights out of the prior week's video, makes a compilation video, and we play it before every single broadcast. We open the broadcast. Hey, check out last week's action. Get you hyped up for this coming up race. So we're going to be uploading that. Not something we do very often, but because we missed last week's race, we're going to upload that to the main channel and to Facebook so you guys can catch what was their really good race at Iowa last week. So we really do like helping out our leagues. That way they stay with us as a broadcaster. They get commitment to us, and then I said we grow the channel from there. So
yep. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to our channel sponsors. You can see them over there on the screen next to Corey.
Yeah, I never know which way I'm supposed to point.
So first of all, Krutz Custom Graphics, my company. I don't like doing this, Corey. You do the shout out for me. I don't like boasting.
Yeah, obviously Brandon, he does his graphic design. He does graphics for iRacing. I mean, if you want to scheme, hit him up. But he also does work for real life. I know he's done work for Dirt Guys, for K&N guys, even doing real world schemes. He's gotten deals
mostly real life stuff now. So
he's gotten stuff with actual racetracks, doing decals, doing shirts. So he does a really good. Every graphic that you see for PTR TV is him. I don't know anything about layers and friggin' and doing this, so it's all him.
Even this whole scene that you guys are seeing, I made.
Yeah, well, I took the picture. You just did all the fancy work behind it.
Well, you took the picture.
But yeah, that's him. So we have our Patreon. I mean, I know people are like, well, different topic. Well, you guys charge for broadcast. Why do you need more money? Broadcasting isn't cheap.
It's expensive.
And if you want to pay yourself not even half of minimum wage to do it, which is what most of us make. Most of us make a third of minimum wage to broadcast. And you want to run a company and actually take a company seriously, because we're dealing with real money here. When you charge what we charge, which isn't that much, but over the course of a full year doing 4 or 5 nights a week, it is literal money. You have a business, you have to pay taxes, you're going to have to upgrade to stay on the top of stuff. And you always get you have to stay on your game. It costs money. You have to pay for overlays. You have to pay for this, upgrades, computers, internet, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we ask for a little bit of extra help. There are stuff that we want to do that I don't have money out of pocket to do right now. I got 2 kids. I have a computer that I'm trying to rebuild right now and all this stuff. So yeah, that's what the Patreon's for. We have some things. I know Brandon will make some schemes depending on the amount. Like I said, we'll just check that out. And of course, Track Cams 4 Gourmets, he does a great job. That's why we don't have to give you the crappy stock cameras. We can give you a really good broadcast with those. That's what we do. And of course, Jason Allison, iBog.co. And I don't see anything in chat of question. This is last call for that. This is going to be a one-off on Wednesdays. We will be going live on Wednesday, hopefully with Michael DeGroat in chat. the bald guy. I won't say the other word in there that he mentioned, but he will be with us, hopefully. So nobody has anything in chat, so we are going to wrap it up. This is The Racer's Mind, Episode 4. It will be on Google Play and iTunes, given Michael DeGroot gets it uploaded in time. So signing out
yeah,
is...
Michael, get on it.
So signing out is Corey Silva and Brandon Krutz. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you tomorrow night, Rivalry Racing at 9 Eastern.
Have a great night, everybody, and we'll catch you tomorrow night.